We're live.
Hello, a very good afternoon from Nigeria. Afternoon to my Nigerian audience and the global community. We are thrilled to welcome you to this extraordinary Ask Me Anything event hosted by the teams at HVACRedu and BioFi Interactive. Today's discussion is quite important to me, important because I'm a lover of education, important also because I'm a technology practitioner and I'm very passionate about building skills and capabilities in the African continent. So it holds very special significance to me for students, particularly because it revolves around scholarships for students and advancements of technology skills in the HVAC industry. We will delve into apologies. I don't know what's going on.
Does anyone have two computers going? Okay, that's better.
As Dr. Robinson tries to figure out his audio, I will start off with some introductions while we figure that out. And I'm Todd with HVACRedu.net. Of course, setting for heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration. We've been in this for it's been about 27, going on 28 years now with the online education. Our CEO and founder was unable to make it today for a conflicting appointment, but he's here within spirit. And Bryce and I will be speaking to this wonderful AMA. And my name's Todd, and I've been here with the HVACR team for about going on 2 years now. And before that, I've been worked with the HVACR EDU team for many years, and I am one of the faculty, and of course assist with Bryce and some of the operations and some of the technical stuff. So, Bryce, with that, unless Dr. Robinson's figured it out, I'll pass the wand on to you.
Yeah, Dr. Robinson, I think we can hear you now. You want to keep going?
Yeah, I can hear. I really don't know what happened. It's just some strange noise from somewhere. I don't know. All right. So it's a pleasure to anchor this. Bryce has already done his introduction. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Robinson Sibe. I am the CEO and lead forensic examiner of Digital Footprints Nigeria. We're a cybersecurity and digital forensics company. And we're based right here in Abuja, in Nigeria. So I'll allow the flow of introduction. So I think, Bryce, you could step up and introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. There's that echo again. That's not me. Okay, we got to figure it out. All right, Bryce Wilkinson. I'm operations director for HVACEdu.net. I am very excited about a lot of the projects that we have going on right now. I've been with the company for going on 5 years, and that's really what I do. I focus more on the business side of things. Work very closely with Todd and Chris, like our founder. And this BioFi Interactive is just a really cool, awesome next step, if you will. We've had really great training for a lot of years, like Todd said, 20, 27, going on 28. And that core training that we have is great. This next BioFi Interactive training is just really kind of bridging that gap to getting as close to hands-on as we can. And we've really seen that as the next steps for us. So very excited about that. Very excited about the scholarships that we can offer in Africa. That's a really cool thing that we're going to pursue, and looking forward to it. So yeah, again, Bryce Wilkinson, Operations Director. Here we go.
Fantastic, Bryce. Nice to have you on set. Next is Brian Moore. Please introduce yourself.
You're muted.
I think you're muted.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Great. And thank you, Dr. Robinson. It's a pleasure to work together. And what an amazing day this is today. First of all, I'd like to mention, as we do in our tradition, just to thank all of the communities, the biometric financial community, and we have so many great people that are supporters from around the globe. And we take a look at James Pelton's organization and Robert Doyle at Kryptonaires and Constellation and the Avalanche, the AVAX team, and Dr. Robinson, as we work together, especially rolling out between, South Africa and then pivoting to Nigeria. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you and with this audience and with this community. I wanted to mention that there was a press release that just went out prior to this event today. And I would ask each of you to take the time to read that. It's an incredible summary of what we're going to talk about here today. We just saw that on Yahoo Finance, and it will make its way around the internet and find its way in thousands and hundreds of thousands of websites and papers and magazines and newsletters. And we're really excited about that because what we're talking about today is 30 scholarships across the continent of Africa. And we will be giving away a Phenix X phone to each of those scholarship recipients because we realize connectivity is important, and being able to conduct all of this wonderful educational training has to happen on quality software and hardware. And we're so happy to be able to do that in conjunction with HVACRedu. And I also give a salute out to, we call him DC, Chris Compton, the CEO of HVACRedu, who is not able to join us here today. But we do greatly appreciate his guidance and vision across all of this wonderful education and focus on VR education. We really appreciate that.
Well said, Brian. Thank you.
Okay, I'll wrap up the intros here. My name is Chris Benedict. Thank you all for joining us today, wherever you are in the world. I'm the COO here at Finovate, the BioFi project. So I don't want to waste any time. I'd like to get into this. The only thing I'd say is forgive me if I'm looking around quite a bit. I'm actually trying to keep everyone connected to this AMA. It looks like we lost Dr. Robinson, so we're going to have to fill a little bit of airtime. But yeah, I'm working the technical side in the background and speaking at the same. So we enjoy having you all here. This is such an exciting and fun project for us to be able to partner and bring educational efforts together to people who may not have had access to them in the past. So stay tuned. There's a lot of good information you're going to hear from us today. So let me see. We're waiting for Dr. Robinson to come back into the queue. We must have lost him there. So let me throw it to you, Todd. Any comments you'd like to make in opening?
Well, sure, I could take that, and that is I'd like to speak to that press release that you so kindly put up on the banner there, and that press release, it's pretty significant. We already kind of spoke to it. 30 scholarships throughout the continent of Africa, and we're going to kind of distribute those around the continent of Africa, not just in one location. We did one with, what was it? Help me out. You. Oh, geez. Thank you.
Yaliwe.
Thank you. And we had one of our students, and one of their a prospective student, that is, I should say, and she's filled out that application. I don't think there's any issues with approving her. I think we actually did approve her, and she should be starting her training soon, hopefully.
Fantastic.
So yes, that's really great. And if you wouldn't mind, put that banner of that press release back up there, or even in the global comment section, so that way people can see that. Click on that and go take a look at that. There's gonna be a lot of links in that press release, who we are, who BioFi is, and specifically about the African scholarships. So, with Dr. Robinson back, I'll hand the one back off to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's why we have very strong technology people around this space. Maybe that's the reason why the technology is failing to test our resolve. But we are strong, and we'll get rolling. So I think from the HVAC ED point of view, I'd like to get a bit more insight as to the scholarship program and also perhaps the contents of your other programs.
Okay. Bryce, do you want to speak to the other our rest of our programs offerings besides the scholarship? Since I kind of already spoke to the scholarship,
Sure.
and you could definitely go see that that information in the press release there. One thing I do want to point out is if you go to if Chris, can you put the African scholarship up there so that way people can navigate to it while Bryce speaks to our rest of our programs and whatnot?
Yeah, so obviously we have that great scholarship, you know, and really Todd did put that training together, which is awesome. So it's kind of customized for Africa, which is great. So what we really specialize in is really taking someone that doesn't know much about HVAC, taking them from a very beginner level up to, you know, we call it sometimes truck ready. So they're ready to start getting out in the field. And, you know, we do a lot of what's called apprenticeships. So it's like, you can be working but taking training at the same time. So really we have that training that starts from very beginner level, gets you up to a certain point where you can start working in the HVAC industry. But what's really cool is then we have what we call our premium programs, and you can take off from there. One of our probably best sellers is the BAS program, which is building automation systems. And that's very advanced level stuff. But what's awesome is we can start someone that doesn't know a lot about HVAC and then get them all the way through. We have all of our training modules really built very similar. So the nice part is once you get used to how we provide your training, people become very comfortable. And we see that through our reviews. We see that through our current students when we talk to them. We just make it very, you know, very standardized, I should say. So, yep, you can see here, this is the actual application for the scholarship that we're sharing. You know, pretty basic information, but we just ask you to fill that out. That's the best way to contact us for, and then we'll reach out and we'll continue that. So I guess through our other programs, just to wrap up, you know, we have 2,700 hours. So it's, we have probably the most, we do definitely have the most online available training available. And I do recommend, as you can see in the press release that hopefully we've got the link distributed well, there's a sample course in there. And I always recommend people signing up for that sample course. Basically, it's a free enrollment. You just have to fill out a little bit of information, and you get access to a lot of modules. And like I said before, all those modules are arranged very similarly. So you can find out if online training is right for you. And really, some of those modules are what's in the scholarship program. So, yeah, I think that about sums it up.
I'll pick up what you put down, Bryce, and that is if you do navigate to our main website, which is right back up here, hvacredu.net. I'm sure Chris will put it up here in a second, but you have access to that sample course, as Bryce mentioned, and you will, in those sample courses, you have the option to take some of this 3D interactive training we're going to speak to today. So later on today, that is. But I just do want to, you know, thank the BioFi team and Dr. Robinson for the support and the collaboration.
Thank you very much for that. Fantastic. And it's something, I bet you is something that will be very useful in Africa. Africa has a population of approximately about 1.4 billion and very active population, most of which are very young. So this is something that comes in at a very interesting time as well. And also, I'd like to state at this point that for purposes of transparency, you know, I stated earlier in the course of this program and even the adverts leading to this program that one scholarship slot is being given out, over 30 scholarship in all in Africa, but today one scholarship slot has been given out. And I am thrilled and privileged to have been part of the process. Actually is going to benefit from that today. The student that will benefit from that today. I don't know if he's still on stage because we've been having connectivity challenge, which is a challenge in Africa here, broadband connectivity. But I will go ahead to introduce him, and if he pops in at some point, we'll talk about him. If he doesn't pop in, I'll try and fill in as much as possible. But his name is Peter Barisitomka Vika. He is a Nigerian from River State, Nigeria. He's a 19-year-old, will turn 20 later in June this year. At some point, if he pops in, we would would continue with that. Otherwise, I'll try and share some of the perspectives which I gained interacting with him. But before then, maybe this question perhaps would go to Brian. Brian, could you tell us a bit about immersive technology and how you hope to use this to support the training process?
Yeah, this is a great question. And, you know, it's amazing this point that we are at here, you know, launching BioFi Interactive in the continent of Africa. And we have an amazing launch coming up soon with the Phenix X. So, and I actually have one of those here with me. So for many of you that are watching this process closely as we get ready for the launch, um, we are so excited. We are so excited about creating a very easy, accessible environment for so many people across South Africa, which is the initial launch country, and then with a quick pivot to Nigeria, the launch of the Phenix X. So all the work that we're doing with HVACRedu, each of the modules that are being written and converted from traditional web content into VR training, all of that will end up on the Phenix X phone. And so this is an incredible and an amazing technology feat to take, you know, what would be, you know, Unreal Engine content on the Windows platform and converting that over to iOS and to Android. So by offering this training, this HVACR EDU training, it'll be preloaded on the device. So imagine getting one of these devices, unboxing it, having an interest in the HVACR EDU field, and then being able to take some of your courses in virtual reality. This means that you don't have to travel to a large population center and go to some building where there's one of these HVAC machines sitting there. It means that at your own time, at your own speed, you could be sitting in your home and working through this training on a Phenix X and learning all of the intricacies of an HVAC machine, taking its temperature and looking at the coils and understanding the flow of the chemicals and the pressures and everything that goes along with managing and maintaining these environments. The VR training is absolutely incredible. So Dr. Robinson, we see an incredible and amazing opportunity for students across the continent of Africa as they get involved in this technology. The HVACR industry, especially refrigeration in the continent of Africa, is just a need that needs to be filled. It's something that we see as a long-term commitment, really focusing on education with the Phenix X and working closely with HVACR EDU and providing a device. So in the press release, this is one thing that I'd like to highlight. This device will be handed out. So like in the case of Peter, who's trying to join us here today on the call with connectivity, with this device, he would be able to access his local cell signals or a Wi-Fi connection and have instant access to an event like this, which is being streamed, or be able to access traditional content online and take those courses. Or in the case of the preloaded VR training, he'll be able to access that directly on the phone. And with this, we'll be able to help him, his family, the communities, and lift up many people, both with the scholarships and with this incredible technology. So we're really looking forward to that.
Brian Ma, you might want to make mention to the fact that that is a dual band or dual SIM card phone as well. So that way across African continent, sometimes they're different networks.
That's a good point. So inside the device itself is a double SIM slot. So you can have like a data SIM in here. You could have a local, let's say your carrier was MTN or Vodacom or Telecom or Cell C. You could have a SIM in here, which is a data SIM, and you could have another SIM in here, which you use to make local calls on. So a lot of options, a lot of opportunities using the device, but opening up this gateway to this incredible training and learning and education.
That's fantastic. And at this point, I'm glad to say that I was privileged to have a closer look at the phone, the Phenix X, and it's a fantastic phone, not just in functionality, but also in the look and feel. Very sleek phone. And I look forward to having proper interaction with it. And it's going to be a game changer, particularly, I wish I was younger. So there are lots of things I could do with it in terms of training and all of that. So this is a fantastic device that will revolutionize even education. So Todd, from the point of HVAC-Edu, can you still further throw a bit more light on, because you know that HVAC technician is a very hands-on role, and here we are offering it as an online course. So for the African who's listening to you, can you break it down as to how such a very highly technical hands-on course can be taken online and with a practical feel?
Absolutely. So you mentioned the practical. Well, I like to think of our true traditional classroom, online reading, whatever you might want to consider, as the practical. Okay. And we've had that for years, for decades, right? Going on 27 years. And before I even came on a board with Chris, I said, we need to do some of this, immersive learning, some bridging that gap between the practical to the true hands-on. And of course, online, if you're going to be sitting at your desk at home, at the park, at the library, wherever you're going to do your online training, it's kind of hard to have that equipment there, right? So we've developed this idea and that bridging that gap to that practical to that hands-on, not quite hands-on. Chris, or DC, our CEO, likes to call it mouse on, right? Because you're going to take your mouse, right, your good old traditional mouse, and play with your mouse as your tool as you pick up tools, your drill motors, your temperature probes, refrigerant gauges, whatever tools that might be integrated into the immersive learning as a useful tool and how to. The point of this is yeah, you don't get that true hands-on experience. You get to feel, using all your sensories, but we use as many senses as we can with the convenience of your laptop, in this case, the Phenix X phone or whatever it might be. And doing so gets you prepared for the field. And so that way, when you get out in the field, make mistakes here online, right? Mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process. They really are. And we learn from those mistakes. And if we learn from those mistakes, we're ready when we get out in the field. And so that's how it benefits the students. Whether it's in Africa, whether it's in America, whether it's in Canada or anywhere in the globe, do want to make mention that we are global, right? And wherever you're at in the world, you are prepared for when you get out in the field.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I could follow up just a little bit on that. Just what we're seeing kind of over here in the States. Obviously, we're primarily in the States, but that's kind of the traditional thought. Like 27 years ago when Chris started this, everyone kind of looked at him like there was the innovators that knew that it was like, hey, that's a good idea. There was really nothing like this out there. You can't teach HVAC online. Were you crazy? That's kind of the feeling that he got. But that is just, he's proven it and we've proven it. And it just sets up the learner for success. If you know the theory, if you know how the systems are going to work online, that's where you learn. You can learn all your stuff, and then you get out in the field and you're prepared, like Todd said. So it's just more and more ever since, especially 2020, people have just realized that we have different employers, contractors, everyone coming to us and be like, we need this training because we don't have we don't have anyone, but like the workforce is just, it's hard to get people ready to go. And that's where we specialize. Taking someone that hasn't worked as HVAC before, maybe they're a plumber, maybe they're an electrician, but they want to do the HVAC training and they pick it up quickly and they can really take them from not knowing much to succeeding. And yeah, like you said, that there's still the old timers out there that are like, oh, you can't learn this or that, but it's not what it is. You need that knowledge either way. If you're going to be hands-on, you still need the knowledge. Well, we provide that and then give you the opportunity now to do some more of the mouse on stuff. But you still need that great background and before you really get out in the field, and so you know what you're doing.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add to that real quick though is on that note, there are other platforms out there with big old innocuous headsets and true VR, expensive hardware. Okay, what's the beauty about what we've provided is you already have a computer and you already have broadband. That's all you need. Right. We are also going to be developing it for smartphones, so that it's going to work on the Phenix X, but tablet, iPhone. We're also going to move over to, of course, OS and even Linux, if I remember right, as well as Android. Right. I believe those are the other ones. So, yeah, those are coming right now. It's strictly Windows PC, but buckle up, hold on tight. It's going to be coming with other platforms very quick, very soon.
And Dr. Robinson, I would just like to throw in on this particular line of questioning. It's amazing to think about as we ponder this, right? It's amazing to think about the impact that this training has on society. So think about all the thousands of people that have gone through this educational program, completed it, have a certificate, they're out there starting their own business. They're working for a large company, maybe a small company, maybe a family business. And imagine, and these are great paying jobs, by the way. Imagine all of the economic benefit that this has provided to society, both at the family level, the community, the state, and across Africa, as we see this really take hold. This helps uplift families, it helps uplift communities, and it provides an economic footprint that is just massive, both in terms of revenue generation for the families, for a tax base, and for providing solid, strong communities. This is exactly the kind of thing that will help the continent of Africa.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. One of the challenges here is unemployment, and that is largely fueled by the skills gap. The fact that there's a lot of skills gap, particularly in the technology space, and this will prove to be a game changer in that regard. So this is brilliant and fantastic. So I'll follow through with this question. I'll direct this to Chris. How does BioFi Interactive contribute to supporting virtual reality learning?
It's a great question. Education has been kind of a hallmark for what we're trying to bring to the market. When we launched BioFi Global, when we launched the BioFi project, it was important to us to be able to bring education and knowledge to people along with the project, not just what we're doing, but in the DeFi space or blockchain space specifically. So one of the things we did is we launched a metaverse project, which allows us to leverage 3D technology, and we're able to create wonderful and beautiful graphics that are easy to engage with. And you put that together with the HVACRedu content, and we've created modules now that people can actually diagnose what's wrong with an HVAC system, and then actually conduct a repair with digital twins, with technology online that looks just like the tools that they're going to use when they're in the field, or just like the systems that they're going to see when they're out there. So that fear or that uncertainty out of the equation, because in a very engaging and interactive environment, a student can now look at what they're going to see. And Bryce mentioned this earlier, their focus is on truck ready. When they train people, or when people go through their training, they want them to come out ready to be employed and ready to do their job. So by making these by using this virtual reality, if you will, through Unreal Engine 5, we can give them a real life scenario that they can diagnose, repair before they even buy a tool or go out into the field. So that brings together the education part for us, and we've talked a lot today about the Phenix X itself, but that's a platform for us, the platform to deliver education, both HVAC-REDU related and beyond. So the virtual education is something that's important to us, and we continue to expand that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I know I'll still give time for this later, but just to ask it right away, could you tell us from the HVAC-REDU point of view, if someone wants to contact you, how will they contact you? And then when you're done, also maybe Brian can also help us. If someone wants to contact BioFi Interactive, how can they contact you?
All right. Well, I'll take the HVAC. Well, our contact information is right on our website, our main landing page, hvacredu.net, right there, as you can see behind my banner. At that, I think Chris is working on putting up that on the. There we go. So there's our main landing page, and you can go to About Us or contact us on our header there, and you can fill out a form to reach out to anybody. Okay. If you even want to reach out to me directly, you can use my first name, TODD, and at hvacredu.net, just as it is there in our URL. So feel free to reach out to me. Same thing with Bryce. You can use Bryce's name and use the same at our URL there, hvacredu.net. And we're more than happy to help you out if you have any questions. But I would strongly encourage you to go look at our webpage and read about our About Us, our team members, however it suits your fancy. So yeah.
Fantastic. Brian, you want to take that, or Chris for BioFi?
I'll take that. The easiest way to, or at least I'll kick it off. One of the easiest ways to get to us is through our Twitter space. We are BioFi Global, at BioFi Global on Twitter, or X as we call it now. One of the things I'd like to share here, if I can do that while I'm talking, is our biometric financial website, which is biometricfinancial.org. It's very interesting. If you can go on there and you can fill out a referral. What we have put together is a referral program that was created by a member of our community. And what you can do, you see up here on the right corner, if you are part of a business, a project, or you know of one that you think would be helpful, could partner with us, you can fill that out in referrals. If you do that, and we are able to partner with that business, screen's a little slow here, you will get paid out in BioFi, so you can get rewarded for doing that. The other place I would say to get involved is on our Telegram page. We are BioFi community, and it's a very engaging site. Lots of people. When I get a moment here, I'll type it into the chat. But we have a great community that helps educate people about the project, what we're doing, and keeps you up to date on efforts just like this with HVAC-REDU and the scholarships in Africa.
Fantastic. At this point, I think I'm not sure Peter is able to join us, so I'll go ahead and share a bit of insight about him. I was part of the process to pick the student for the scholarship, so part of that included an interview session, which had to do with the students sharing their story. So Peter was born about 19 years ago to a family in a community called Boulder in River State. And Peter went through the senior school certificate examination, and as well as got an admission to study electronics engineering at the River State Polytechnic. It's now Kensariwa Polytechnic, the name has changed. And he, unfortunately, he couldn't proceed because of struggles with his finances. So this scholarship is very timely for him, and he's very desirous to join that. I think Peter has just joined in. I don't know if he's hearing me, but I'll continue if he's able to join in at some point. That's fine. So Peter is very desirous to pick up the HVAC skill set, one which he considers something he's been very interested in. His interest in engineering led him to want to study electrical electronics engineering, and is particularly very, very keen on the HVACRedu scholarship. Africa, like was said, is there's a big skill gap in the HVAC industry, and so this is very timely for people like Peter. And he's very keen and very excited. I would want to propose that maybe another session will be done so he could tell the story by himself, and also we feel the passion and the interest, and also be able to benchmark where he is starting from, so that at the end of the course we can also see and measure the skill set and difference, and also track what a difference this will be to his life and to his family. So this is fantastic. I would move on and ask perhaps, well, not the final question, but a few more questions. And this question is going to be directed to Brian. I know I've seen the phone. I know I've had this beautiful discussion. I know I've researched about the phone, the Phenix X phone, but I want you to sell this phone to me. What are the features? What makes it stand out? What makes it that go-to phone for the African?
Oh, it's a great question. So the Phenix X, by the way, for all of the community, incredible community that we have out there, again, thank you for your support. We're just humbled by the incredible support that we get. The phone is actually in ICASA right now, going through its final, they call it type approval testing. And we're very close, moving through that process. And we're looking forward to wrap that up over the next several weeks. And then this phone will start to make its entry point into the South African market. If we think about the device, it has incredible security built in. So there are biometrics built into the device, directly into the device, that will look at your voice and your face to ensure that only you are accessing the device. Those same biometrics are then added as another layer of security at the app level. So at the device level, we have the incredible security, bank grade, military grade security. At the app level, we apply the same thing. So whether you're taking an HVACRedu course, or you're sending money from person to person, or depositing at your bank, or anything that you're doing online that requires security, we will have multiple levels of security on the device. It's just incredible. Outside of that, the educational side of this is just unbelievable. What we're talking about here today and in the press release is very important to understand. So we have this just amazing relationship with HVACRedu, building the educational content into the device for virtual reality training. So unbox the device and immediately you can immerse yourself with HVACRedu. There's also a special app which is being preloaded on the device. We call it the Phenix X EDU app, the Phenix X Education app. In that app, you will have all of the local content. So video content that you can stream and watch from the Biometric Financial Channel, and all of the local content in market in South Africa, Nigeria, and across the continent of Africa. And then there's an AI component. So if your local search doesn't find what you're looking for, we will open up an AI search and direct you to the training of your choice. So let's say you want to learn about Bitcoin. We don't offer that content internally, but it's something that we would open up to you in the app through an AI interface, an API that we built in. So this is a fantastic way to offer up and serve up incredible learning and education. There's also, Dr. Robinson, this is an amazing thing. We will take a portion of the purchase price and actually using decentralized finance over the course of the life of the phone, pay the person back in rewards over the life of the phone. So this is an incredible opportunity for purchasers of the device to get back some portion of their payment over the course of ownership of the device. So there'll be a special portal that each customer of the device can log into and track these and utilize them as they go along. These are three primary ways. And alongside that, we have incredible preloaded content from just amazing providers. We were about to launch a few more press releases. So imagine all kinds of immersive and decentralized content in the form of apps preloaded on the device that when you unbox it, you will have instant access. You don't have to find these things on the market. You don't have to search them. You don't have to think about them. They're at your fingertip. And along with that, we'll provide some instruction. And this will help people in many ways, Dr. Robinson. It'll help them in their daily life. It'll help them in their future. And while they're interacting, it'll do things for them that's just amazing, along with the education. So we're very excited about that, the preloaded apps. And these are four major pillars that differentiate this from anything on the market.
That's fantastic. You touched on very important salient issues that affect or that's been at the top of the news here in Africa. You talked about security. You talked about privacy. These are things that's been burning. If you look at the legislations over the African landscape in the past 3-4 years, a lot of countries have actually come up to enact data privacy laws, just as GDPR in Europe. So these are very important things. You also talk about education, and this is actually the first phone that I see this level of educational provision. So this is fantastic and very brilliant. So I'd like to ask Todd at this point, we talk about 30 scholarship slots in Africa. The person out there may want to know, how do you make these selections? Is it that you just wake up and then you spin a dial and maybe you say you want to give somebody
darts
with
against
my name?
blindfolded darts against the wall, right? No, sadly that's not how it works. But I think you guys mentioned or spoke to, I think it was Brian, and well, actually it was you, Dr. Roberts. You talked about our this candidate, Peter, and how that he is passionate, interactive. He mentioned that he was going through an electrical engineer program, and some hardships came, and he's going with would you say a backup plan, if that might be what it's called. We always have backup for those of us in the States, we apply for colleges. You always have a backup college, right? Well, I guess we would be Peter's backup college, in other words. But nonetheless, we'd like to be his first, and anybody's first. But the way we select or go through candidates when they apply for a scholarship is we look at the overall picture, who they are, where they're at, of course, geographic. We want to kind of get an idea of distribute across the continent of Africa. Those are some geographic things, but real true physical things. We look to see how passionate the individual is, where they're at in their studies, how much they already know, and we're looking to see if we can find somebody who's going to be successful. We don't want to just hand out a scholarship to any person. Again, blind darts in the wall, right at the wall, and whoever it lands, it lands. Wish it was that easy, but there's a little more involved in that, and really comes down to, again, back to that passion and interest. If you have real true interest and you have any kind of it's a vetting process, and we want to give you that scholarship. We can't get to everybody, so we're going to be a little selective. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. I think there's a comment section, if I remember right, in that form. Give us some more information. It helps us select and make a determination. On a flip side, I had listened to Brian Moss speak there to the phone, and upcoming press releases. This is kind of a different spin, a different note. Big things are coming. Well, big things are coming here with HVACRedu, and I would like you guys to look for those press releases coming within the next month or two, and it kind of lines with more of this on the state side, but you never know. It could make its way over to the African continent, Europe, wherever, and big things are coming.
Good.
Thank you very much. We are getting to the top of the hour. I see David is seated here. David, you just say hello to our audience over there, and after the hello, just tell or share an example of immersive learning with our audience. We'd like to know one example.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm David. I'm a developer here at Phenix, in charge of developing the Metaverse and HVACRedu modules. So I'm excited to be here and showcase one of our modules. If you'd like, I will start sharing my screen to show you what that looks like.
Sure.
While David gets set up there, I want to let you know that the streaming services downgrades everything to about 720p. So what I want you to know is you're going to go, oh, that's not that real. Well, when you are using it on your device or your computer, it is unrealistically real. All right. So just bear with it. The streaming services does downgrade to 720 for bandwidth reasons.
Fantastic. Noted.
David, do you want me to dictate? Okay, looks like he's nodding yes. So this is a refrigeration connecting, disconnecting manifolds. And what David's doing is he's going through this and he's going to say, hey, is PPE, personal protective equipment, required? Yes. And so he's going to put his personal protective equipment on. So there's your first checkpoints, if you might want to say, hey, PPE is required. So yeah, that's going to be true. Oh, it's actually a double negative, right, David? Yeah, yes. It is a double negative. It isn't required. Well, that's false. So, nonetheless, we're going to move on here. David, do you want to take over since you're the one doing the controls?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll grab our gauges from our toolbox. As you can see, we have this cues you to click on this, and then you can pan to the left, to the right. So in this case, we pan to the right, and we can interact with this here. And then that asks us, are the hoses and gaskets in good condition? Well, they look to be in good condition. If they weren't, we'll make that. We're going to make that in the future modules. We're going to make it apparent that they're not if they call for that. So correct. And then this tells you the difference between low loss fitting types. So you have your ball valve here, which is what we're using in this exercise. So now we have to determine the type of refrigerant within the system. So we can easily determine that by clicking on our nameplate. And it asks, what is the unit's factory charge indicator on the condenser plate? Well, you can find that on this row here, factory charge, 10.6 pounds. And our refrigerant is R410A. So we look for that here, R410A, not 10.6 ounces. That wouldn't be accurate. So let's go with this one. Correct. So once we have that, we select the corresponding refrigerant from our gauges. We have this button here that allows us to cycle through. Now we have that. So once we have selected our refrigerant, we have to check if it's rated to our burst pressure. So as you can see, this popped up here, check hoses for stamp pressure. So we click here, and are the refrigerant hoses rated for use with R410A refrigerant? Well, we have our stamping here, and if you want to check, you can check your log here, 4,000 psi and 800 burst pressure. So you have it here, 4,000 psi, 800 psi burst pressure. So that's correct. You can click true, and now we can zoom into the to our service ports to identify what type they are. So you can pan, but in this case, we just want to remove our caps, and you can see the Schrader core right in the middle. Like Todd mentioned, the stream doesn't do it justice, but when you have it installed, it looks amazing. It could go up to 4K, 8K if your machine can handle it. So for those out there who are big on 8K, okay. So now we get to this is the fun part. we get to attach our hoses to the service ports. So our high side and our low side. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take our high side and attach it to our high side. Take our low side, attach to our low side. As you can see, you see a little burst of refrigerant. So prior to purging hoses and manifolds, ensure all ports and valves on manifold are closed and the unit is shut down using the system connect. Okay, well, they're all currently closed by default, but it doesn't hurt to check, to double check. So, and then we go ahead and click connect. Okay, I'm sorry. Please verify that the system is ready to be purchased, indicated prompt. Well, we didn't turn the unit off. As you can see, the unit's still on. So let's go ahead and kill the unit, shut it down. And this will, as you can see, in effect, shut down the unit. So now we can move on. And now this is my very favorite part. So we grab we have to purge the system. So let's grab our yellow. I know this by heart, so thank you, Todd, for that. I blame Todd for that. So we open our, and then we come down here. We open up our low loss ball valves here. Okay. And if we try to continue, it won't let us because we haven't purged the system properly yet. So we have to do this step. Everything has to be done right. So we have to open our manifolds and our low side and our high side, low side, and our charging hose. So we open this up. Once we open this up, we're going to start purging the air, and you want to close it right away because otherwise you run the risk if you leave it open to purge the entire refrigerant. You don't want that. So there we go. Close it back up, and we have successfully purged the system. Now we can move forward. So yeah, do you think it would be a good time for questions, guys?
I think it's good. I think we get a good idea of what's going on here. One thing I want to add, and going back to it, this streaming doesn't provide justice. It really is pretty awesome. But that's kind of some of our this one's connecting disconnecting manifolds. That's something that we do teach, and we're talking about some of these checkpoint questions. Going, oh, what kind of valves are these? Well, those are things you learn in the true practical, right? What kind of valves these are, what kind of, this, that. And then you go and you move on to the bridging this gap to the hands-on training, in this case, mouse on. And you should know some of this stuff by then. Doing so will help you move on and be able to answer those questions appropriately. And it gives you those steps and processes of how to. And it's really quite awesome.
Well, thank you very much. This looks very interesting, even though you say it's been downgraded, but I still feel immersed in it. That's why it's called immersive learning. I actually feel like going to fix my air conditioning unit after watching this. This is brilliant, and this is just a tip of how the real lessons will go. I can imagine how it will feel using the Phenix X phone with the virtual reality module. So this is brilliant, and we're almost getting to the top of the hour. So I'll give an opportunity to one final word from the HVACRedu side. Todd, you want to take that? One final word for Africa and for Nigeria. I think you're on mute.
I said I'll take that, and I'll pick up whatever Bryce could pick up whatever I put down, and that is, I do encourage you to go take a look at our website. Do open up the sample course. Take a look. Some of these trainings are in the sample courses, specifically 143 leak detection, 143.1 that is. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. Dave would know best because we're working on implementing 143.2, or this exercise that that we just showed in 143.2, I believe. And they're great, and please take a look at it up there. The sample course link is right there. Please do take a look. If you do want to have more information, please contact us. Do take a look if you're interested in the scholarship. Please fill out a scholarship. The more, the better. If we'd like to speak with you regarding that. On the other note, besides the African thing, like I mentioned in a little teaser, hold on tight. big things are coming with HVACRedu and the industry. Okay, so check back with us in about a month or two. Go ahead, Bryce, if you have anything, if I missed anything.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Robinson. Thank you,
Yes.
BioFi team. Thank you, everyone that's watching. It's been awesome. And please reach out. Any questions at all? Very excited to get these scholarships out there, handed out, and change people's lives. And just continue doing the great work. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing I want to add to that is, are there any questions from the audience? I do see some of these comments coming from, was it Suzette that I just saw? Please, if you have questions right now, we'd love to answer them during this live broadcast, or otherwise, you can reach out to us via email or any kind of communication through our website portals.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've actually been looking out for questions. Not sure I saw any, but if you have a quick question, please feel free to share it right away. We would note them as I give room for maybe Chris or Brian to give the closing shot for the BioFi Interactive. If any questions come, I'll call you back, but for now, just give your closing shot.
Yeah. Chris, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining. I'm sorry we had a little technical issue with Peter. I think at Todd's suggestion, I think what we should do is record a video for him as a backup. And if we can't get him live at the next AMA, we'll have his video testimonial. I think that will be really helpful. But thank you everyone for joining us. This is a project that is only getting started. It's only going to get bigger and only going to get better as we expand, and certainly as we work with people like Dr. Robinson, who is here to help us get the word out and hold us to task. What are we doing? How are we doing it? How is it going to benefit the people in Africa who are looking for this type of technical education? So thank you for joining us. Thanks for spending some time with us, and reach out anytime. We have plenty of communication channels: Twitter, Telegram, our website. If you have questions, comments, let us know. Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
Dr. Robinson, I just want to say thank you so much. This is fantastic. We are very much looking forward to working together on a number of fronts. And for our HVACRedu colleagues, you guys are just amazing. And I know DC's not here, Chris Compton, but I would like to say that your focus on quality, we are so impressed. There are two things that we don't say a lot in these kind of conversations, and I'll just say them because they're so important. One is quality. You guys have probably the highest level of quality of just about anybody we work with. It's just incredible. If we go back in time and we look at the amount of focus on just the curation of the content, the incredible desire to suss out every detail, every single detail to make it perfect. What David just showed you in that VR interaction, I can't tell you guys how many hours, countless hours we've spent making sure, and Todd is just incredible at this, making sure that every single image, every interaction there is exactly lifelike. It's just incredible how much focus, and between the work that Todd's doing and David and Thomas, who's not even here, Bryce, these guys have such an incredible focus on quality. The other thing is customer service. It's hard to find anybody in the world that is as focused on the customer as HVACRedu. Take a look at their reviews. Take a look at the comments that people make about their company, about their content, and working with them. These comments are just incredible. And that's why it's such a pleasure working with you guys. And for all the people watching this video, and for the thousands and thousands that'll watch it later, take a look at HVACRedu. Watch what we're doing in Africa. What Todd is saying is right on. What they're doing in the industry is groundbreaking. And their vision and what they're doing with VR and everything that we're doing with the Phenix X to help this, we're so excited to be a part of this. And it's an incredible educational opportunity for everybody in the continent of Africa. We're so excited to be a part of that.
Don't sell your team too short though, Brian, on customer service and whatnot. Yes, we strive ourselves with live faculty and student services, and that's what sets us apart from any other competition with any kind of online education, at least specifically heating air conditioning, that is. But don't sell your team short either. It's been a pleasure working with you, and you guys too are our attention to detail oriented as well.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure hosting this Ask Me Anything session with you. A very, very interesting conversation and great insights as well. Great opportunity to learn and also to get to know a lot more about the beautiful work that's been done at HVACRedu as well as BioFi Interactive. It's been a wonderful time from Todd to Bryce to Chris, David, and Brian. This has been a fantastic time. The emails and the addresses had been shared in the course of this program. Feel free to write to them at any time. Also, you can visit the websites already shared as well. There's a lot of content in there. I have been there. I will continue to go there. And like I said, I wish I was an 18-year-old kid. Very exciting opportunities. This is just one of the early programs. There's a lot more coming, so please continue to look out for the press releases. There's one has already been released today, but further events will be done to continue to give out these very fantastic scholarship opportunities to Africa. This is brilliant. As an African, I find this very, very interesting and very good for the continent to address the skills gap, particularly in the area of HVAC. So from all of us, thank you and have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.